Hello everybody, and welcome to Money Matters. If you like to make money and enjoy learning about crypto and other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy what you see, hit that like button as well. Let's get going. As always, a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, nor do I give financial advice. This is for your entertainment purposes only. Let's take a look at the market. Boring. Very boring. One day we're green up 1%, 2%. The next day we're down 1%, 2% in the red. So we're in a meandering point, and I think that there's a lot of factors that play into this. There's just a ton of FUD out there, and there's a lot of real information that's taking place that's affecting this current price. But as you look at the chart, which we'll look at a little bit later, you'll see that there's some sudden dips that drop down, but it's gobbled up right away. As fast as it hits the bottom, it jumps right back up because there's people in the sidelines waiting to buy it. So this could be good in the long run, I think. And I do still think that we're one click away, if at most, from really taking off into the next leg up for all-time highs in Bitcoin. I'm not really sure what the deal is with respect to market lag and what's happening right now. Maybe it's a death cross, who knows? But the fact of the matter is that if you look at market trends in history, we are poised for a turnaround. There may be one more shakeout, meaning that whales will come in, drive the price down, short it possibly down to 30, try to get the last remaining retailers out before the price turns around and starts to go back up when they start buying in. Now, I will say this, a lot of the retail investors have already been shaken out. The ones that are left are holding on, they're hodling, they're not going to sell. So I don't know if it's really worth the trouble and effort to manipulate the market the way they traditionally do, just for this particular moment in time. However, it still could happen. If not, I would look over the next 2 or 3 days for there to be a turnaround, and over the next 1 to 2 weeks to start moving back up to 40. And then once we get past 40, we're probably going to be bouncing back between 40, 41, and 45 for quite some time. But I do believe that this particular run will take us into the 70s at a high. And I'm not saying that we won't go past 100, 150,000, 200,000 by the end of the year or January. I'm just saying this leg up, which could be, I mean, everything is stretched out so far this time around. It could be September or so before that happens. But the good news is I think that we're falling back into the trend. There's still room to grow, and we have a lot of positive space to the upside left to go. Let's take a look at some of the coins that we have here. Now, as you can see, we're looking at such small percentage gains. Well, at least they're gains, right? I have it charted out for 24 hours, but you can look at the chart trends too, that most of them are dropping down substantially. But Bitcoin's staying right into the mid 30s, which we would expect. I think Ethereum's a little bit lower than what I would tend to want at this particular point in time. I think we should start to see Ethereum go up to 25, 26 once Bitcoin puts its head above 40. Not to say they're tied together. I'm just saying that a lot of people are looking at Bitcoin as the market right now. Tether and Binance, I just wanted to make mention of the news that's out with respect to it's Binance US that's being investigated by the Justice Department, and there's all kinds of negative things going around with respect to propriety and what they're doing and not doing. And people, I've heard stories of people not being able to get their money out of Bitcoin for months at a time. So I don't use Binance. I never liked the interface, and I don't like the fact that they're offshore. So I don't use them. And if I was to guide anybody, which I'm not, I would steer them away from Binance. The other news is around Tether, which is a stable coin. Of course, it's the predominant stable coin, but apparently there's some shenanigans going on with respect to the backing money, or the money that's backing this particular coin, and whether or not it is actually there. I think that they skirted it by using derivatives and some real financial jujitsu to make it look as though everything is in backed by dollars, but it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if Tether took a huge hit, and I would not be surprised if Tether crashed, which would affect the entire market. But the good news is there's a lot of other stable coins to pick up the slack, so I don't think it would be very long lived. Other than that, nothing too spectacular. here on the charts. Everything's down. If you're looking to buy, this is still a good market to buy in. I mean, everything is down. So anyway, it's a buyer's market. Good times for that. All right, let's get into the news. Billionaire Bitcoin investor Mark Cuban calls for crypto regulation. I wonder why. Well, it appears as though one of his investments suddenly crashed to zero. Now, there's more to the story than meets the eye. He has been dipping his toes into crypto very extensively as of late, the last few months. I think he's very interested in the space. I think he sees the potential. I think he understands what's going to happen, and he wants to be a part of the ground floor moving up. And of course, one of those sectors is DeFi, and he's really bullish on DeFi. And unfortunately, we're still in the very, very beginning of development. So this particular coin or this particular project was designed to work just as it worked. However, there's a problem, there's a flaw in understanding flow. So if there's too much liquidity or not enough liquidity, or if people are taking or putting in money too fast, that will affect the price of the stablecoin outside its normal stability, meaning that the price will no longer be just tied to $1. It will go below, or it could go theoretically above the price of $1 if things start to go crazy, which is what happened here. And I think, and I can't remember what the span of time was, but it was only a matter of hours before it went from, I think it was $64 all the way down to zero. So my point is that it is still the Wild West. Don't invest any money that you're not prepared to lose. But in this case, I think that the silver lining is that I've read in numerous places that the company who is behind this, or the organization is behind this, explained very well what the shortcomings of the structure was, and they're trying to make everybody whole again. So it's not a rug pull. This wasn't a scam. This was just a flaw in the program that allowed for this to happen. Whether or not they can go back and correct it, hard fork, or do whatever they need to do to correct that in the future is a story for another day. I think they will. I don't know. They'll probably have to change the name. I don't know how many people are going to invest in it now. But I did read that they were trying to make everybody whole again. It might take some time, but that should be the way they're going. But again, this is just a very good point to remember. Things can go bad very quickly. Okay, Grayscale investments exploring new additional assets. Well, this is great. I have some Grayscale GBTC in my retirement account because I cannot get crypto exposure in any other way except through MicroStrategies or Square, or buying some other stock from a company that has a very large position in Bitcoin, which is a great way to go too, especially MicroStrategies. It's been beaten down, and I think Michael Saylor has turned that into basically a Bitcoin company. The price of Bitcoin will drive the future price of that stock more than anything else as of now. But anyway, back to Grayscale. They have several funds that they provide for investment purposes. Of course, GBTC is the biggest one that they have, and that's for Bitcoin. They have the ETH fund for Ethereum. They had XRP till they took it off when it was delisted, but you can see that they have a ton of other projects that they're looking to capitalize on. And they may do it individually, they may put them into a basket and create some sort of a fund, but the fact of the matter is that they will be adding some in the future, which is good for people who cannot get an on-ramp into crypto, especially some of the other altcoins and whatnot that are available for people to buy. All right. Coinbase, they've started listing some new coins at an accelerated pace. Solana, which is a big layer 1 protocol, Polkadot, which everybody's probably heard of. I highlighted that one because that's a pretty big player in the space. Chiliz, which is an ETF, Keep. There's a bunch of other ones as well. But Polkadot, to me, was the biggest follow-up. And I'm not really sure why it came after Cardano, except for the fact that Cardano is very popular, because Cardano has 0 projects built on it, and Polkadot has something like 350. So regardless, Polkadot will be listed on Coinbase along with those other coins, and which is great because I had to buy Polkadot through, I think it was Kraken or another exchange in order to get exposure. And I have it. I think I have that. I'm invested in that as well. Yes. But anyway, I think that it behooves Coinbase to list as many coins as possible. That's why they put Dogecoin on there. Why? Not because Dogecoin's worth anything as a project, but people trade it. And of course, Coinbase makes their money off of trades. So they want things that are trading a lot. And that was a coup d'etat for them because they're making a ton of money on all of the different trades, especially when the market starts to go up and people start FOMOing back into Dogecoin. They'll be making a ton of money on all of those transaction fees. So it's good to hear. I use Coinbase. Coinbase Pro is my primary exchange. I have like 8 different ones, but I'm really trying to pare them down. And it makes it a lot easier when they start to list more popular, or I guess more popular is how you would phrase it. But anyway, it's good to see that they're adding in. All right, some other news. China's cryptocurrency mining ban has expanded, and I think this one was a pretty big hit. Now there's extensions to this as well, but I thought that this was very interesting. China's government has tried to, or they didn't try, they have actually closed down a lot of the crypto mining in different sectors of the country. And this ban supposedly has affected more than 90% of their mining capacity. I've read a lot of stories where a lot of companies are ditching all of their hardware. They're moving offshore to different countries. Texas is one state within the United States that is really looking to monopolize and capitalize on this. They have a very green proposal for miners in the state. And I think that there's a lot of these Chinese companies that may be relocating there, or Canada, more to come. But again, as I said before, this is good news for Bitcoin. I think the more dispersed the mining facilities are, the more countries that are involved in it, the more players that are involved in it, the more decentralized it is, the better it is for security and basically the whole project overall. Okay, let's get into this. This is something that's been plagued in the news as of late, maybe for about the last week, the death cross coming for Bitcoin. And I wanted to show you what it is they're talking about and why it is or is not important, and why I don't particularly follow it. I think it's an indicator, but I think it's something that you have to take with a grain of salt. So if we look at the Bitcoin chart for today, and here you see the dramatic dip that we had and how fast it was bought up. Again, I think that we're meandering between these two trend lines, and we will stay here until we poke our head above 40, at which time we're going to be good to go. But with respect to a death cross, it's a technical term basically, and or chart that they're looking at, and it's when the 50-day moving average and the 200-day cross. So here you can see them touching, and this is where we were. I think this was yesterday when I took the screenshot. But you can see that we're right there. This is happening. We're in the midst of a death cross. Now, I think the panic comes in from the fact that historically, when we go through these death crosses, we tend to go down in the market. But if you peel back and look a little bit higher up, you'll see that it's a temporary dip before a big leg up. So if we continue down, we may have one more shakeout, but I think that overall, this is not going to affect the market or anything else that we're going to be doing at all, for that matter. The important thing for us, at least for a lot of folks who are invested in altcoins, is to look at the total market cap. I think that we'll see this dip down this weekend, probably beginning of this week, just kind of coattailing off of that death cross fear. But then we're going to see this turn around. And of course, what we're wanting is for this to get back up to the horrifying news drop that we had. And this is when the altcoins will take off and money will flow in. And we should make some profits. Anybody should be making profits in their altcoin investments. And hopefully that'll be up till about 78, where Bitcoin will start to curve back down and the alt season will be over and drop off. Again, the timeframes are different this time around. They're lagging, but I think that traditionally and historically speaking, this is the route that we'll probably be going. So with respect to the death cross, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't think that it's going to have any long-term effect. It's going to be a short-lived anomalistic event or very rare occurring event, so don't get too worried about it. In addition, keep your mindset focused on the future. If you're not day trading, which I don't know why anybody would, it's a horrifyingly stressful thing to do, your timeframes are much longer. Make a plan, like I've always said, make a plan, stick to it, and execute it. Your stress level will be so much lower. You're not going to worry about these ups and downs and these death crosses and these things that are happening, because in the long run, it won't matter. Bitcoin's still going to make money. Bitcoin's still going to be the best investment that you can make with respects to return. So I hope this helps. I hope it helps to calm everybody down and gives a little bit of insight to this death cross and the insignificance that it really poses, in my opinion, to the market. So, as usual, last but not least, winners never quit and quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I hope you have a great day. I'm planning on having a great day. And for all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And I'll see you tomorrow.